Well, but what is this? What is this? Welcome to Madridista, Madrid esta jeta. How are you all? This is going to be a video express to analyze this, which apparently is going to happen. I mean, it's going to happen in the next few hours. Lightning move. We're going to sign this guy before Diomande and before Rodri. Carlos Espí, 21 years old, 1.94 meters striker, big target man. One of those who play that way, which, hey, I don't think is bad. I mean, it's not football in general. It's a very specific kind of football for certain teams at certain times. I mean, no, I hope not. Come on. It's not like Madrid wants to sign him to be the starting striker, but rather to be Gonzalo's replacement. Some people might say, well, why didn't we get rid of Gonzalo so this guy could come? Well, it's not exactly like that. The thing with Gonzalo is that they're paying a lot of money because we want that player to develop elsewhere to play. And that's why Madrid doesn't completely lose control over Gonzalo so that we can bring him back in the future because it's believed he could be a striker for the coming years. And now, well, if you have him there on the team, just sitting on the bench all the time, it was a bit pointless. They say Mourinho wanted Gonzalo, but of course, then the market, well, these things happen in the market and you have to take advantage of those opportunities. I think the Gonzalo deal is good. I see it as a good move because I also want the kid to play and show what he's worth, especially in the Premier League. Although it bothers me since I like the kid, I think he's good enough to play for Real Madrid. And this deal, well, I don't think it's all that bad considering who our coach is. The urgent need to bring in someone with that profile, a Jose Mou-type profile from a few years ago, a player you're going to use at certain times in certain matches. He is what he is, and I think that's fantastic. Levante is asking for 25 million, citing his release clause. Is this footballer worth 25 million? I started hearing about him at the end of this past season because he scored a ton of goals. I won't show La Liga images here. I've already seen the goals this guy scores. He doesn't really catch my eye. He doesn't impress me. He's not the kind of striker I like. Look, I've seen strikers with the same height as him who are a bit more stylish, more graceful in their movements and all that. This one, not so much for me. Look, maybe he comes to Madrid and we end up loving him, but he does seem effective. He seems very effective. Ramon is saying, I don't know who broke the news. First, no, I don't want to complicate things here. But I know Ramon has been reporting all afternoon, or when he's not reporting. Ramon, no. But I think Arantxa Rodriguez has also said it. I mean, it's something that's out there. It's already happening. That it's out there and that the guy was negotiating, he and Levante with Brighton from England. He was also going to the Premier League. And at the last moment, Madrid showed up to sign him, or that they had stopped everything everywhere, right? Because the player must be on cloud nine right now. The really good thing is he's 21 years old and he's a specialist. And watch out, depending on how the games go. We know that for Mourinho and for certain coaches, maybe it would be an option they wouldn't even consider. But for Mourinho, yes, but this isn't pejorative, not at all. I mean, I'm often in favor of that too. I like sophisticated play and all that. I think football has changed a lot, but in some things it hasn't. And this is one of those things that have always been there. This is the classic tall, strong striker. When you can't open up a defense, well, there you have him. Or when you need to send in crosses to look for headers, there you have him. Hey, well, that's great. And you can also see that he's good for that he's an effective kid, that he has goal scoring written all over him. And above all, he's very young and has a lot ahead of him. And if he accepts the role, that's the icing on the cake. Fantastic, fantastic. Because some people say, no, I'm going to Brighton to play. But when Madrid calls, they say, no, I want to play. Well, no, as soon as Madrid called the kid, he's probably freaking out and wanting to take advantage of the opportunity, right? And to earn Mourinho's trust, because he knows he's not coming to be a starter, but hey, being a specialist at Real Madrid is much better than being a starter at Brighton. Come on, so what do you think? Tell me about this signing. Let me know as well. That it happens on the same day as Gonzalo's situation. I mean, yes, because there will be people who see it that way. It's a mistake to sell Gonzalo and then sign this guy. I get it because of what I told you, but I don't think so. It's not because you think one won't be useful for this and the other will. It's also a matter related to the market, and that's it. You don't lose Gonzalo. And then tell me what you think is going to happen with Hendrik, because Hendrik could end up as collateral damage. Because, of course, the Brazilian says, wait a minute, so the guy I was going to compete with is leaving. Competing for the position with Mbappe or picking up the leftovers that Mbappe leaves behind. And now you're going to put another guy, sorry, to compete with me? I'm out of here. And there are already people saying that Hendrik is leaving, but why? Because in both positions he can play. They've already signed a starter for one of them, which is Diamande. And Hendrik knows this perfectly well. That when Rodrigo recovers, which will take a while, but well, he will recover. This season, Rodrigo will start as the first option or as the option to replace Diamande, which means he will be the third choice there on the right and also the third choice at number 9. I think Hendrik is going to leave too. And Madrid, of course, Madrid is going to make a lot of money this summer. And another thing is that some players have to leave among those who had to leave. We didn't want to consider Hendrik, but now we're going to have to start considering him. Guys, so that's it. Tell me, what do you think about the signing? Regarding Gonzalo leaving, someone new arriving, the chance Hendrik could leave, and so on. Finally, a note about today's topics, though this is actually from yesterday or the day before. It's been going around for days now. And it's about Infantino, which is really unbelievable. Why? He wants to change. Let me see if I have it here now. He wants to bring in predatory private capital into FIFA to organize the World Cups. And of course, UEFA has already said not to count on us. In fact, we'll boycott the World Cup if this gets approved. The news I'm sharing with you isn't that one, it's not that one, it's something else, but I'm going to link it to this. To begin with, what I think about this move by Infantino is a very shady guy, very shady, a real bootlicker to those in power, completely submissive to authority. You have to see how he behaves when he's next to Trump. Honestly, it's cringeworthy, it's embarrassing, whether it's Trump or anyone else. With the Emir of Qatar, for goodness sake, or with anyone else. But on top of that, this move is very shady, very shady. It turns out he wants to sell it to Trump's son-in-law's brother. And of course, the World Cup has visited the United States. They've seen what a huge business it is. And they've said, wait a minute. Let's get in on this, because how is it possible that a non-profit organization is running this? What is this really? What is this? They really need to get involved here in a big way. So mucho money for private investors for them to cash in on, basically. I mean, they're exploiting the goose that lays the golden eggs for all it's worth as much as they can. I mean, squeezing it as much as possible. And it's not being squeezed, mind you, they think it's not being squeezed enough. Because right now, I mean, FIFA, just look at what it represents. Even so, it could be more. And of course, in this sense, if certain people get involved, because right now, whether we like it or not, and whether we like Infantino more or less, and so on, or we've seen World Cups run in questionable ways, like the one in Qatar, like the one in 2002, and so on. You say, hey, it's still organized by football people, but what happens when people who aren't from football get involved? And Infantino says, no. Let's see, we're going to organize this. We're going to create a sort of FIFA subsidiary that will be in charge of organizing this and making the most out of it. And we're going to sell 20%, which is, when they tell you this, it always seems like a small amount. And you say, well, if it's going to be a little, it's going to be a little. Yeah, it's going to be a little. Some guys who aren't from football are going to come in and say, wait a minute, hold on. Why does there have to be only one break in football? Well, we've already seen that in this World Cup, right? Without anyone coming in, why aren't there 4? Exactly. Now there are 3. There are 3 breaks, right? They divide football into 4 quarters. This will only happen in the league's first matches in August and September due to the 21 degrees and related factors. I hope it doesn't happen, and it probably won't, but it could become permanent someday. Either way, those people will let you know. Let's have a penalty shootout in the middle of the match. They can do anything with football. So that's a door you can open. And once you do, there's absolutely no going back. UEFA has seen this, fortunately, and they've said no. But also Infantino is very sly because, you see, he has a re-election coming up. Now, this next spring, he has told the federations, each of you is going to get each of you will get 20 million euros if it happens, or dollars if it happens. This move, he's buying votes. This guy is buying votes. Now, if Europe doesn't want it, I don't think it's going to happen, but no other confederation has spoken out. Careful, because there could be a huge split in football right now. Absolutely huge. And I always insist, if we already don't like the hands that control football and the World Cups, it's always the same. Even the FIFA president seems suspicious to us. Just imagine if he gets involved. Outside people, right? What this could be, and well, changing football so much that in the future, not even its own mother would recognize it. But that's why I'm sharing this news, which you likely already saw. Gianni Infantino attends the 27th enthronement anniversary celebration. Mohammed VI of Morocco was the only guest who attended. There was no one without diplomatic status. I mean, everyone had diplomatic status, and there was Infantino. Why? Someone outside might not know what's going on, but here in Spain, we understand Morocco has lobbied the United States heavily. And with Gianni Infantino, and well, and with FIFA and with confederations. So when it's time to vote, I didn't know they voted on the World Cup final, but apparently they do. They have more votes. So that the World Cup final, which Spain and Portugal started to organize, and Portugal accepted its lesser role compared to Spain in that sense, having fewer venues and so on. And so that Spain would have the final, we thought of inviting Ukraine. Ukraine was involved for a while, but then couldn't continue because the war dragged on. And then Morocco was brought in. Morocco, which they said was included to, well, to please the African continent as well. And of course, Morocco has started lobbying there. And since they are strategically and geopolitically much smarter than Spain, or at least those who are currently governing Spain, well, the previous ones too, they've started to gain ground there. And is the final going to be played in Morocco? With these moves, the final is going to be played in Morocco. It's unbelievable. Spain, we talked about this the other day. It's like saying, well, you can keep it then. What's more, the current world champion, go ahead. It's yours. Screw you. And even more so if this scoundrel's plan works out, so they can take it away from us, so some people can get their dirty hands on the World Cup, right? And well, I support what UEFA wants to do by boycotting this guy, but it looks bad. It looks bad the way football is going, and it's all because of this guy. Well, the one who was there before, of course, left the way he did. Blatter. I mean, we get out of one mess and end up in another. It's unbelievable. I mean, now with Infantino, what's happening and all that. And a few days after the World Cup ended, well, let me know what you think about this topic. Hope everything goes well for you. Give it a like if you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to the channel, comment, and share. Get hyped. The next video is coming up, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.